what is the role or the importance of the prayer and the prayer room and all this this environment that you guys lived so long for this kind of process of transformation and sanctification?
It's going to discovering the place of prayer has changed several things in my perspective and how I view my life. And one of the fundamental things would come from 2 Corinthians chapter 3. The end of that chapter, Paul says, we are not like the children of Israel because their minds have been blinded. This veil, which is Jesus, we can now go into the presence of God. And then he says, as we behold him, so as we contemplate and meditate on looking on him, it's in that place where we're transformed. Because what we look on, we become. So what you focus, you become. And that has been, for my life, the single most powerful place of transformation is by looking at God and then understanding God looking at me. You know, very simple. We love him because he first loved us. So that idea. And that would be the transformation of the place of prayer in my life, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think sitting with the Lord in authenticity, like I just really knew that he saw everything. So I couldn't hide from him. He sees it anyway.
You can't pretend.
No. So I made him my ally.
Yes.
In my pain and in my prayer life instead of trying to perform before him because he already knew. And so the context of a prayer room allowed me to go again and again and again to sit before him and talk and ask him for his perspective. So it was personal and then also intercession as well, looking outward. And then I found him at the kitchen sink too, because he's the God that walks through walls and he's not contained to a building.
But she got saved at 16.
16.
Yes. So I was raised in the church. So you had such a radical conversion because you went from darkness to light.
Yeah.
That she actually had more of a prayer life than I did.
I was going to say that because this thing of
Because you
pretending.
noticed it? Because you noticed he didn't have much of a prayer life?
It's so in your face. It's a challenge for us who was raised in the church to be real.
Yes.
To be, because we learned how to pretend and to put the clothes and the tone of voice and you know the right words.
Hello, brother.
Hello, brother. Hallelujah.
Authenticity, she was just raw before the Lord. And the Psalms, early on in your life even, just, it was the language of your heart.
It was. Like I think of Psalm 73, verse 21 through 26. It says, when my heart was grieved and my spirit embittered, I was senseless, I was ignorant, I was a brute beast before you. So I'm reading this passage as my parents are going through a divorce. And I'm like, that's in the Bible. And those were the things I felt. I felt senseless. I felt ignorant. I felt like a wild animal before the Lord. And then it says, yet I am always with you. And afterward, I will guide you with my right hand. Whom have I in heaven but you? Nothing I desire beside you. You know, so we know that famous part of the verse.
Yeah, without the introduction, right?
Right. But without the true understanding of knowing God's loyalty to us in our dark places, we won't say those things.
Right.
And so that transparency in prayer is amazing. Like I feel most known in that place.
And it's a revelation when we can't be real, that we still not believe entirely in the grace, right?
Yeah.
Because we're afraid.
Yes.
And performance.
Yeah, we're afraid, like, if I'm honest, he won't love me.
Right.
If I'm honest, he won't like me or desire me, right?
Yeah.
But I think that there's a little bit of a healthy reach within those that have been in the church for a long time for authenticity.
Yeah.
You know, what we're experiencing in our new little church plant is when Jennifer and I open up and be real,
Yeah.
all of them, and some of them been in the church for years, but they're going, oof, I want to be vulnerable and I want to be real.
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
there's
yes,
something, you will only go into some depth when you are real and vulnerable with the Lord and
I
then
got
even
it.
with others.
yes. Yeah. So good. Yeah, because you have a friend, and then in the suffering,
Yes.
he becomes a brother, right?
Come on.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just have friends, right?
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
we never share
Yes.
Yeah.
for them to become brothers, right?
Yes.
And sisters.